Joining us now, one of the best running backs in the National Football League. First season with the New York Jets. He's Le'Veon Bell. He's appearing on behalf of Pepcoin by PepsiCo. Everybody loves a payday, including Le'Veon. And now everyone in the country can get their payday with PepsiCo's first ever loyalty program, Pepcoin. When you buy PepsiCo beverages and Frito-Lay snacks together, PepsiCo pays you back. Today, Le'Veon will be driving a Pepcoin armored truck around New York City, surprising fans with coin in celebration of his payday. Visit pepcoin.com for more info. Had you ever driven, and have you ever driven, an armored truck before today?
Honestly, no. So this would be a fun experience for me, too.
Is there any special training for driving an armored truck?
Special training? I mean, I hope not, because if there is, I missed it.
Is it a stick shift? Can you pop a clutch? Do you know how to do all of that?
I don't know. We got to learn everything today.
Hey, well, it's good to have you for a few minutes. I know you're doing a bunch of these. Monday Night Football, that's the buzz right now in the NFL. Everybody's talking about last night's game. I'm always curious, as a football player, how much of a football fan are you? Do you watch a game like last night as a fan, or is it hard for you to enjoy it as a fan because you play the game?
Yeah, I watch it as a fan. You know what I mean? I still have, favorite players that I watch around the NFL, and Russell Wilson is definitely one of them. So it was fun watching him do what he did last night. It was such a fun game, an entertaining game on both sides of the ball, though.
Who are your other favorite players?
I like Saquon. I like Tyreek Hill. I like Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, there's a lot of exciting players, you know what I mean? I can go for days, but I don't want to continue to leave people out, you know?
You mentioned Saquon. He had a rough day on Sunday. I look at the stat line, and I like my eyes have to refocus. Surely it's not 13 carries for 1 yard. Did you say anything to him after the game to kind of, boost him up a little bit moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we talked after the game, and I basically told him, just keep his head down, keep moving forward, it's football is a tough game, so he's coming back off an injury and things like that. So I'm sure he's probably still fighting that a little bit. And plus, his team having a little bit of struggles, kind of like we were a little earlier. We just was able to overcome that game, but I'm sure they'll get back in the right situation, get the ship sailing the right way.
You say football is a tough game. It's also a tough business. That's something that you learned a couple of years ago. What's the biggest business lesson you've learned during your time in the NFL?
The biggest, really just to stay patient, to stay the course. I've been playing football such a long time, so nothing really came, overnight. So I kind of had that mindset the whole time where when I was sitting out the whole season, and I understood what I was trying to do and what I felt like I was worth at the time. So that's really my biggest one, I would say.
One of the things that drives me crazy, Le'Veon, about the NFL game is everybody's allowed to make business decisions except the players. And when the players make business decisions, they're being selfish, they're being greedy, they're being this, they're being that. How hard is that to take a stand when it feels like the whole system is rigged against players making business decisions?
Yeah, it's tough, but obviously as a player, you just kind of got to understand where everything's coming from. Fans kind of, like that certain team or that city where they're from or whatever it is, they're always going to kind of, well, not always, but majority is going to side with, that team. Just strictly because they like that team. They want that team to be the best that they can be. So sometimes if a player, wants more, money or a better situation, it kind of looks bad on the player. But a lot of times they don't really understand, where the player is coming from. So it gets a little tough sometimes. But I just like, understanding where I'm coming from, and I try to do what's best for, my family or myself. And I encourage all the other players to do the same thing.
It's amazing. Just hearing you explain that, Le'Veon, it impresses me that you have a very pragmatic, very even-keeled view of what can be a very tough game, a very tough business. Is that just the way you've always been, or have you had to kind of get yourself to understand you separate the emotion from that calculated business angle that you have to take if you're going to be successful in this league?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think naturally my personality is like, I've always kind of been like a stubborn kid, So I think just over the course of time, obviously I've learned a lot as I've been in the NFL, but I think they both kind of played into it because it's like, my understanding has grown as I got older, in the league and I've been around. And obviously, like, just my natural, like, personality a little bit, So I think they both kind of played a factor into it and kind of made me who I am today.
You had a great video a couple of weeks ago preaching patience for this New York Jets team you're now a part of, that things are moving in the right direction. Give me the main reason, the main thing that you've learned during your time with the team that causes you to believe that this is an organization with the arrow pointing up.
Yeah, I mean, I really made that video just, because everything was kind of in the whirlwind. It's a lot of people on social media talking about, all types of, trades and people want to get the coaches and GM and stuff fired and things like that. And I just want everybody to really understand that, it really takes time to kind of build the program that you're looking for, all the great programs, you think about it, it took them time to get to where they're at, and that's the direction we want to go, obviously. So we got a lot of good, free agents over the off season, and we had a new coach and basically a whole new line and new general manager. So everything's not going to just happen, in the blink of an eye, And I just wanted people to kind of understand that.
And you still had that very calm, dispassionate, patient approach, even though you had just been the subject of trade talks. You mentioned on the 17 Weeks podcast from Uninterrupted that the Packers, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Steelers had all expressed interest in trading for you at the deadline. How close did it come to actually happening with one of those four teams?
I honestly, it was close. I obviously was at the time, just like hearing everything out and seeing how everything plays out, obviously I didn't want to get traded, but if it did happen, I was ready and I was, obviously going to have to do what I had to do. But, I just kind of understand, from the Jets' perspective, or if, if they were trading me and they got some value out of it, I understand where they're coming from. And, like you said earlier, it's a business, it's strictly business, and I understand that whole business decision thing. So I didn't take too much offense to it. I just kind of kept my head down, and once the trade deadline actually went by, I was just ready to put my head down and get back to work.
And Le'Veon, I got the impression from your comments on the 17 Weeks podcast that one of the business aspects was a new team maybe wanted you to redo your deal. And you said, hey, wait, I fought for this thing. I'm not redoing anything. If you want to trade for me, you're taking my contract. Was that a big part of those talks?
Yeah, that was definitely a huge part, because I understand how, things work and everything. But the fact that I had to, actually sat out a whole year to kind of get to where I wanted to get today. I definitely couldn't retract on it. I'm still trying to set myself up and my family up down the line. So I made sure that, everything tried to stay intact, and we both would have, myself and whoever team would have got me, we both became winners out of it, not just them.
All right, I'm not going to ask you which team it came the closest with, but what color helmet would you be wearing right now if it had happened?
Oh no, I can't even say that. I can't even tell you. I don't know.
Hey, what's the biggest difference between Mike Tomlin, the guy who was your only NFL coach before this year, and Adam Gase, the guy who's your coach now?
The biggest difference is I think it's because Coach Tomlin is more of he's more defensive minded. It was rare when I had meetings and things like that where Coach Tomlin was sitting there with us. Because he's always with the defense. He's more of a defensive-minded head coach, and, Adam Gase is really the total opposite. He's an offensive-minded coach. I spend a lot of time with him because he's in all of our meetings, going over all the plays and installs, So that's really the biggest difference for real, because being offensive and defensive-minded.
Last question for you. Give me one thing you miss about Pittsburgh.
I just miss the fans. The fans are, they were great. They always came out and supported. It was always kind of, behind me. So I miss a lot of my teammates too. I had great friends over there. So it was fun over there, So there was a lot of things I miss about it, but obviously being in New York now, I'm happy where I am.
Hey, let me ask you one more real quick one. Have you kept in touch with Antonio Brown at all? He's going through a rough time. He wants to get back in the league. What advice would you have for him?
I actually haven't kept in touch with him, but, I think, my biggest advice would probably be not try to do too much over social media. Everybody kind of watches him and follows him and wants to hear what he has to say. So try to keep all the positive energy, if you are on social media and try not to post, negative things.
All right, man, great advice, and good luck today driving the armored truck. I'd give you some advice if I could. I've never gotten within 10 feet of one. So pop the clutch and hope for the best. And at least it's big, right? What can happen? It's big. Rock, scissors, paper. The armored truck's going to win if it goes haywire. So good luck driving around in that thing today, Le'Veon. We hope to talk to you again down the road.
Most definitely. I appreciate it. Make sure everybody follows me on social media today. I'm giving out cash with Pepcoin payday.
All right, man. Pepcoin.com. We'll check it out, and we'll check out your social media pages, and good luck with it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.